of the 8th inning is in there for a called strike from pitcher Dean Peterson, who was the beneficiary of some nice 7th inning defense by third baseman Steve Cook an inning ago. There's a pitch outside to catcher Mark McKinney. On the afternoon, McKinney, 1 of 2, singled and was left stranded in the 3rd inning. Struck out his last time up. Peterson's 1-1 on the way. There's a swing and a miss. 8th inning, Allegheny 9, Wooster 1. Been all Gators in every facet today. One, two, the count to McKinney. Pitch on the way. Swung on and fouled right side out of play.
Rick Crean's biggest fear when it comes to Dean Peterson, that he'll be drafted after this season and sign a contract and go pro. Yeah, you know, there's a good shot when we go out to the outfield shot, looking in at home plate. Set up behind home plate is a lot of scouts in those little lawn chairs there. I believe that is a sign of a scout, isn't it? They bring a lawn chair with them, right, Bill? You don't see many college students with lawn chairs. The nice little striped ones, striped variety, as you can see there.
So behind. That's a prerequisite for a scout.
That would be.
I think you're reaching a little on that one, Steve. Here's the 2-2. Swung on and a grounder, deep hole at short. Nice defensive play by Hardoby, but he's going to have to, excuse me, Ed even got by him for a base hit. Either way, McKinney was going to get first base via the base hit. The 5th one on the afternoon for Wooster. They have the leadoff man aboard here in the 8th inning for second baseman Jim Warga, who has gone down on strikes in 2 prior appearances. So we'll see how Peterson pitches with a man on. McKinney at first, watched on by Rine. Pitch to Warga, outside corner, strike 1. Still have those 4 faithful out in center field. Maybe we'll get a shot of them in a moment. Watching from the Wrigley seats. 0-1. Outside corner, 0-2. Dean Peterson jumping ahead. There they are. Now they're joined by a 5th member. That's just a great shot.
Right on top of the Allegheny softball dugout.
Great shot by our crew. 0-2 pitch by Peterson on the way. Swung on and missed, and for the 3rd time, Warga goes down on strikes.
Number 2, left fielder, John.
1 away here in the 8th inning. And that will bring up John Tomlinson in the top of the Wooster order. There's a good look at Dean Peterson. 6'3", 195 junior. Ball's fouled away.
Dean Peterson, one of the most intense guys on this team. He walked around looking straight ahead before, during, after the game.
Hey, Steve, we touched earlier on the importance of getting ahead in a count. Now that cannot be underscored. Another thing I firmly believe in as we watch Peterson here with the 0-1 offering, in there for a beautiful called strike too, is that a relief pitcher really has to play the part. You know, you don't, you oftentimes, I think, can look back at the Al Raboskis of this world, and he had an act that went with his pitching style. But I really think a reliever has to have the most determined look of any baseball player out there, because he's out there doing a job. And there's a swing and a miss for strike 3 for John Tomlinson. And their main job most of the time is to put out a fire. Here Peterson's just getting some work, and will in all likelihood finish up with a save if he goes the full 3. Most of the time they're in there to put out a fire, and you have to have that game face on.
You get the feeling Dean Peterson would enjoy it more if he came in and Allegheny was trailing 4-3 or up 4-3 or the game was tied, as opposed to this circumstance where he's ahead by a large margin. Maybe he can get more motivated to come in when that game is closer. But I think he was definitely upset by giving up the single lead off this inning. He's come back throwing even harder, struck out the next 2 batters.
There's Terry Gladys. Takes a called strike. He's actually had the best day of any Wooster offensive player. 2 for 3. Singled in the 1st, doubled and scored in the 6th. The only Wooster run to this point. Leading off first is McKinney. Peterson steps off, now back on the rubber. 0-1, 2 outs, 8th inning. Allegheny 9, Wooster 1. 0-1 pitch. Showing bunt and taking called strike was Gladys to go 0-2. Ron playing well behind his man at first base. That is Mark McKinney. Started the inning off with a single. 2 strikeouts for Peterson. shut any threat down, and there's strike 3 to Terry Gladys to close out an impressive 8th inning for Dean Peterson. Strikes at the side. We've played 7.5. Allegheny 9, Wooster 1. You're watching Allegheny College Baseball on CTV 13.
Today's game is brought to you by Mellon Bank. You're why we do our very best. WMGW 1490 AM, Crawford County's Sports Authority. Palmero Toyota. We love what you do for us, Allegheny. Perkins Family Restaurant, serving 11 delicious entrees for Mother's Day, noon to 8. And by Guardian Protection Services. Protect your home and family with the First Alert Home Security System from Guardian.
Seven and a half in the books here at Allegheny. And as you see, happy totals for the Gators into the bottom of the 8th. They lead it 9-1, and in all likelihood will be making their last appearance to plate. Some autograph seekers. And some signatures here as we move into the bottom half of the 8th inning, and still see Brett Beach on the hill there in the backdrop for Wooster.
Well, should Allegheny be able to hang on and win this one, as they certainly are in a comfortable position right now, up 8 runs. This would be a first for the Gators since the formation of the North Coast Athletic Conference in 1984 in terms of wins versus the College of Wooster. Allegheny has never done any better than 2-2 in any of the last 10 seasons against Wooster. They're looking for their 3rd win against no losses this year against the Scots here today.
Joe Gaeta will lead off the 8th inning for the Gators. Again, they lead it by 8. Gaeta, a busy afternoon. His 5th appearance at the plate. Sends a comebacker off Beach, has to scramble, throw to first, gets his man. The first out. Gaeta was still looking for his first run, or his first hit, I should say, despite scoring a run earlier in the game. He's retired 1-3.
Joe Vastola.
The first out of the 8th inning. This is Joe Vastola. Vastola 2 doubles, pair of RBIs. He's 2 for 4 in the afternoon. That Beach settling down after a rocky 6th inning. Outside in order in the 7th, and is actually now retired 5 in a row. Pitch high, Vastola 1.
Come on, Joe.
Good look at Joe Vastola, 5'11" sophomore, DHing today. 1-0, driven into right field, base hit. Vastola, 3-hit performance this afternoon for the Gators. It's a 1-out base knock into right field. That will bring up 3rd baseman Steve Cook. Was 0 for his last 6. Still coming up with a single and a run scored in the 6th inning of Brett Beach. One on, 1 out. Vastola on base for the 3rd time this afternoon. First single after doubling in his first 2 plate appearances. He leads from first. First pitch to Cook is outside, ball 1.
Well, as we talked about before, the weakness for Worcester this season has been their pitching. Certainly this game didn't start out that way as Donatelli settled in nicely. Had a couple of good innings, but then started to struggle. The defense didn't fare well behind him, but now it's more Allegheny starting to hit certainly Brett Beach around really well, and the pitching that again is causing leaving Worcester falling behind in this one.
Beach's 1-0 is in there for a called strike, 1-1. Long day, long weekend for Wooster. They're 3 outs away from dropping their 3rd consecutive. Allegheny, there's a ball outside. The Gators in the process, that much closer to a 31-1 ledger, including 14-0 in the NCAC. 2-1 the count, pitch on the way, and that one is skied out of play behind home plate. Count goes to 2-2 with 1 out here in the 8th inning. Allegheny holding a very comfortable 9-1 advantage. Steve told you earlier, Tuesday, Gators in action, Hiram. And at 3 over next weekend against Ohio Wesleyan here at home before the NCAC tournament, and hopefully for the Gators, NCAA regionals. 2-2 on the way. That ball is driven past the shortstop and a center field base hit. Vastola will stop at second after one out, a pair of singles for the Gators. 12 hits now in the afternoon. And Joe Rine steps up with his teammates at first and second and one out. Last time up for Joe Rine, Steve, he hit the ball about 345 feet. Only problem was that was about half foot short of a home run. Really gave the baseball a ride the last time up. Doubling off the left field wall, the very top and base of that wall. Takes a called strike here from Beach.
Joe Rine's just a strong, strong guy. Really a beneficiary of Allegheny's extensive weight program here. Baseball at Allegheny is a year-round sport. They have about a 12-game schedule in the fall, and they hit the weights all winter long. It's paid off in the case of Joe Rine.
That's 1-1. Cook at first. Vastola leading off second. And there's a shot into right field. That ball is going to be caught. And a double play is going to be ushered in by Wooster, as Joe Vastola did not think that ball could be caught by Todd Urban, and right it is, and a double play ends the 8th inning. We've played 8 complete. It's Allegheny 9, Wooster 1. You're watching Allegheny College Baseball on CTV 13.
Today's game is brought to you by Integra Bank. 4 local offices: Meadville, Conneaut Lake, Linesville, and Sagertown. Northwestern Rural Electric Cooperative Association, serving our rural area since 1936. Family Hair Care, Meadville's full-service salon in the downtown mall. Sagertown Manufacturing Corporation, pleased to support the Gators in the telecast of today's game. Mobilecom, the crystal clear communications people, wishing the Gators good luck and a great season. And by Armstrong Video Services, award-winning, affordable television production right here in Meadville.
Square off in the final games of the regular season. There will be a
Possibly a potential young Gator out on the prowl.
followed by a doubleheader.
Got 3 outs left before he can turn home to daily activities. 9-1, Allegheny comfortably in front here. But move into the 9th inning.
I didn't think you could recruit that young, did you?
These days, Steve, you never know. I'm going to give Allegheny the benefit of the doubt, though. Fine, upstanding college that they are. Other schools, I would not be so sure. Dean Peterson, as we move into the 9th inning, eligible for a save. 3 criteria where you can pick up a save. You can either pitch 1 full inning with your team up by 3 runs or less. You can appear in a game with a tying run in the on-deck circle. Or you can pitch 3 full innings no matter how far your team is up. And that's the case right now for Dean Peterson, who throws strike 1, Todd Urban. Peterson an 8-run cushion, yet can still save this contest by getting 3 outs in the 9th inning. There's a grounder to short, should be 2 outs away. Up with it is Hardoby, throw to first, and he just does get Todd Urban. A good hustle down the line by Urban, but a sharp play by Hardoby. First out of the 9th inning. Brings up first baseman Chris Singolani. On the afternoon, Singolani 0 for 3. Reached base in the first inning on a fielder's choice, but that is as close to the sacks as he has come. 1 out, 9th inning. Allegheny 9, Wooster 1. There's a called strike. Peterson has been in complete control here in his 2 1/3 innings to this point. Yielded 1 hit, and it did not come back to haunt him leading off the 8th inning. 0-1 pitch, swing and a miss by Singolani. It's 0-2.
You can see Singolani just a bit behind on those, and that's with Peterson throwing in the high 80s to low 90s. Not surprising.
Peterson looking for his 4th strikeout. Nearly gets it, but that pitch is low.